What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7 here at Crazyhobbies, and I have the new TRX-4 scale and trail crawler from Traxxas. Going to get a good unboxing and in-depth look and a comparison with other cars like the Axle and see how it stacks up. Okay, so before I get into it, let's just have a quick look around the box. As you can see, Land Rover, above and beyond Defender. It is fully licensed by Land Rover, of course, so it has an excellent looking Defender body. Yes, these have been done to death from a lot of other companies, but from my first impressions of this, it does look really, really good, and they've done a fantastic job. Okay, now on this side of the box is where all the good stuff lies and all the really cool features about this truck are. And the good thing about this, it does have portal axles, which is awesome, but we'll go through that when I get it out of the actual box. It's got remote locking differentials, high-low differentials, mixture of metal and plastic gears, metal geared waterproof servo, torque twist eliminated portal diffs. Here we have 1.9 pre-glued mounted tyres on plastic wheels, waterproof sealed compartment there for the receiver, internal fenders which will eliminate or mitigate a lot of mud and stuff going into the chassis itself once the body is on. It does have cruise control, rigid steel frame, gives you much larger ground clearance with the portal axles there. It has aluminium links with plastic ends, good detail, 3S capable power system, aluminium GTS shocks, and also has a great climbing angle there, or 57 degrees. Enough of that, let's go see inside the box. First up we have our controller. What I'll do, I'll get them all out and then we'll go through one by one. Oh yeah. Now let's just get this plastic off because I really want to see it in the flesh. And one thing about this body, it is very heavy compared to the traditional Lexan ones, unlike the Axials and the G-Made stuff. Yeah, this is very heavy. I have heard some reports about it being a little bit top heavy, but it would be because of all this additional detail on top and all this plastic. And as you can see, it comes with the tyre pre-mounted on the back, and it's got these cool like fuel cans here in nice red, and a nice jack there as well. So that's awesome that it's on the kit from stock, which is, you know, good to see. When you buy this kit, everything is there ready to rock and roll. You don't really need to upgrade anything. Okay, so we'll get the boring stuff out of the way. You have some paperwork. You obviously get your Traxxas warranty card, basic instruction manual here regarding the truck, and have some nice exploded views here, which is excellent in case you want to put it back together, or you pull it apart or crash it or break something. You always know where it goes back, which is very nice. Nice detailed exploded views. Nice Traxxas stickers. Traxxas quick start guide. This is pretty much all you need to get the truck up and running. It just gives you basic info, what the recommended battery sizes and all that, how to put the batteries in the controller, all that good stuff, and how to operate the controller with the cruise control, locking the front and rear differentials, and high and low gear. And you also get some spare parts, body clips, and a little tool set. Okay, now on to the main attraction here. Here is the truck itself. It does look very cool, and I'm really digging this Defender body. Even though it's been done a lot over the years with other manufacturers, they still have put it off very nicely with these additional parts. This external plastic roll cage, the mirrors on the side here, there's really nice applied plastic guards, and with the additional piece at the back, the jerry cans, the jack, the pre-mounted tyre, which I'm sure you'll be able to use as well as a spare, which is very cool. And overall, it is really nice. These decals are applied nicely. Just a black sticker, and same with these small door handles and all that kind of stuff here. Have a closer look as well. There we go there. This Defender logo is very nicely detailed, actually very legible as well, very clear and crisp. Nice vents up here, they are plastic as well. And we have a look at the front. It does have lights up here, they're very detailed as well. Not too sure if you can put light kits in there with the standard ones, but I'm sure there'll be aftermarket stuff, so we can put some nice LEDs there in the front. They are clear, and they do have like a paper decal inside there, so to give it some more detail as well. Do have a nice winch here. There is no winch, but I do believe that there is manufacturers already making option parts for this, so you can put a servo operated winch behind there when the options come out ready to buy. These toe shackles are plastic, and this whole bumper assembly is plastic as well. It does have a bit of flex, as you can see, which is what you want. You don't want it too hard or too brittle. Move on to the other side here. It does have a very nice snorkel, all plastic as well. Nice sliders here, as you can see, fairly flexible as well. Go to the back of the car. Only part I don't really like is this fuel cap here, but that can easily be taken off or added later on. And the back of the car here, we can see does have a proper UK license plate and the nice lights here as well. So these definitely be, I'm sure we'll be able to retrofit some LEDs in the near future. And this whole rear bumper bar as well, it does have a place, as you can see, for a tow bar system there and some more plastic toe shackles. So overall, it is very nice, and there's a lot of room up here. I have a Samsung Galaxy Note, and you can see the size of the roof up there, so it nearly fits in this direction as well. So it's very big. Definitely puts a lot of scale accessories on there, but it comes to the disadvantage, you don't want it too top heavy so it topples over. We'll take this off and let's have a look at the chassis itself. Okay, so here is the chassis, and from first impressions, and you first look at it, it looks fantastic. It doesn't look like a copy of an Axial or G-Mate or anything like that. It looks like the R&D department really sat down and thought what would work and what would be the best out of a crawler, and they've done a really good job first time out. As you can see, on the top we have our battery tray, which will fit numerous sizes of battery. I'll go through that later on. I'll get some sample ones so you can see what sizes actually fit in there. As you can see, we have just the standard Traxxas plug there and our XL5HV waterproof ESC. It is rated up to 3S batteries, and apparently from Traxxas it says if you run a 5000 milliamp hour battery, you roughly get around 2 hours of runtime, which is awesome. The motor here is a 21 turn Titan brushed motor, 550 size. It's, it will do the job. It is fairly quick because it does have a second speed, so you can always make it a little bit slower with more torque if you just want to change the turn rate on your motor, but at least it comes with it. It's more than capable, and I think it'll suit a lot of people. Now here you can see two small servos which are waterproof as well. They do have servo savers on there, and they are actually for locking the front and rear differentials, and they are driven by a small wire that you can see running through here and underneath the axle right there. So one at the front and one at the back here as well. Interesting to see if this gets caught up or with any sticks or rocks like that in real world use, but I guess they would have done their homework and figured out the best location for those. Now up in here you have your receiver in this waterproof box, which is very nice. Small stubby 2.4 gigahertz antenna, which is out of the way. You can see it has some nice rock sliders, and I guess they can form as rock sliders and as a detailed step for the body itself. But the one thing that's interesting is you see under the body here this other piece of plastic here, which is like a big guard. What happens when the body comes on, I'll show you later when I put it back on again, it kind of meets in line with this, so it stops any ingress or large particles going into the chassis when the body is on. It kind of meets up with these two locations at the front and back, which is a great idea. That'll stop a lot of the mess going in there. Now up here you have your steering servo. It might be a little bit hard to see because they're normally blue, but here we have all metal geared digital steering servo, which is nice. It is waterproof as well as all the electronics on this truck are, so that's nice to see. And like I said, it'll do the job for most people, but that's always an easy and cheap part to replace if you want to upgrade that later on. Now we have 4 GTS aluminium shocks with the coilover to adjust the ride height or the preload of this spring. They are oil fit obviously, and they so far offer, well, they seem silky smooth, but obviously we'll put that to the test when we take it out on the trail. But from first impressions, just by doing the basic bounce test, they seem very nice. Now I forgot about this servo down here. It's the same as these two, which unlock and lock the differentials. This is for changing the 2-speed transmission. You'll see it up there. There's a small little rubber boot that goes into the transmission case in there to stop any ingress. That's all it is. Moves backwards and forwards. As you can see, this has a nice metal steel C-channel frame that runs all the way down to the front and rear of the truck. Has some nice Traxxas branding here with plastic support braces running along the side. You have kind of a straight one here, and this one's got like a nice indent at the back there. Looks very cool. And if I go around the other side and follow it through, you'll see that these shock towers are kind of a strange design, and that is also to fit in to the body. So now when you put the body on, it kind of wraps around this really tightly to mitigate any ingress, like with this particular part of the car as well. Now underneath looks very impressive as well, and these links, the 4 links, are all steel and they have plastic ends on them, but that should be more than enough to take the abuse from this. It also does have telescopic style front and rear drive shafts, as you can see. They are plastic, but yeah, like I said, there'll be a lot of option parts for these moving on, but I'm pretty sure these will be more than enough to put up with the abuse with a, you know, a stock 3S brushed motor setup. Down here as well, you can see it has another bar connecting from the chassis to the side here to eliminate the torque twist as well, so that's nice that that's thought of and put into a stock kit. And of course in the middle here we have the transmission, and it is a mixture of plastic and metal gears. I'm sure there'll be upgrades to that as well, but it is high and low and it's changeable on the transmitter, which is good. If you're crawling, you can just change it to go really slow, but if you want to walk back to the car, for example, put on the high gear, get up some speed, which is why I think they went for a 21 turn motor, to give you that bit of compromise for when you're out in the trails. Now something that's really cool about this kit is the portal axles. So on a traditional axle, this line here would be where your shafts will be coming out, meeting up with your center of your wheel, and as you can see there, it'll be much higher. That's about roughly here, so you'd have less ground clearance. What the portal axle does, it kind of transfers your drive shaft down here into another 2 gears, which basically is one on top of the other, and it just transmits that from here, rolls it onto the one below that gear, and drives the front and the rear wheels. That's the layman's term of it. Obviously there are much more technical terms of it. Basically it's just 2 sets of gears here, one on top of each other, transmitting it from here down to the wheel, and it gives you that extra bit of ground clearance. And as you can see, and I'll compare it with an axial car, just the difference that you get. Now on the axles, I do like the design. They do look very realistic, and I guess time will tell how robust and you know, well these hold up to abuse on the trails, but that's how we'll find out later on. Now what I do before I turn it on, I'll show you what kind of batteries fit in here. So simple clip mechanism, you can just slide it to the side and pull back. It's got like a little rotate there so you can move it around freely. Here's a 3-cell LiPo 5000 milliamp hour pack, and as you can see, it has plenty of room. Push this down nicely, and that is not going anywhere, as you can see. Now this is another 5000 milliamp 3-cell LiPo. It's just a little bit longer, and as well, as you can see, it perfectly fits the length of that. Fits down, no worries. This one's not as high as this one here, but it is longer. Now obviously not everyone runs Traxxas batteries, and here is a 3-cell 11.1 volt 5000 milliamp hour as well Tornado RC battery, quite a bit larger. And let's take this off here, and will this fit? That just fits into that battery compartment like that, and with a bit of gentle persuasion that does fit as well. So that much larger Tornado RC 5000 milliamp does fit 3-cell, but as you can see, it is flexing this bit of plastic, but I guess that's why it is a bit flexible, so you can fit that in there. Okay, now I have a 3S in there just for demonstration purposes. Next video I'll hopefully get it out in the trails and give it a good test, but I just wanted to show you the transmission in action. So that is in high gear, there's it in low gear, so there's a fair bit of difference. So that'd be beneficial for crawling obviously, but when you're coming back to the car you have a fair bit of distance to run. You can always flick the switch and put it in high gear, and that is a big difference, that's for sure. Wouldn't recommend doing it on the fly when it's still going. I'd let go of the throttle and then change it, and there we go. Now here's an example of low speed. and we'll turn it around and we'll put it on high speed. Definitely a big difference, and that's beneficial for when you're walking back from the trail and you don't want to pick it up, or here you go, those wheel stands. It's a stunt truck as well, not just a rock crawler, but definitely a big difference in speed. Now flip it around to the other side where we have the two front and rear servos to lock the differentials, and that is as easy as pie, just flicking your switch. So now it's normal style differentials, so if I hold the front wheel and put it on, you'll see, like any normal RC car, they will stop, but if I put it in the center, the front will be locked. So if I try and hold it now, it's locked. And if I push it again, all the way to the beginning, or to the forward position, all four will be locked now. Very cool. So you can't just lock the rear, you can just only lock the front, or none, or all at the same time. So that'll be at the front now, and all the way at the back will be like a normal RC car. Very cool, and it's great how it has that option. I really think that's something that, you know, is missing from this hobby. It's good that it's there. You might not need it, but when you do, at least you have it. Now, while I got it all turned on, the steering servo seems pretty responsive for a standard RTR kit. You know, that's normally what is let down, the motor and the servo, but they are easily replaceable and fairly cheap. But it seems fairly responsive for an RTR kit, and I'll be more than happy with that. You know, obviously for true rock moving, when you're stationary, obviously you want more torque, but I guess you can run it until it dies and get something else. But for stock, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I forgot to mention the shock towers. There are plenty of adjustments here with heaps of holes there for the front as well. There is some there, but at least it gives you some adjustments for the height of the body. And I'm sure Proline and stuff like that will come out with bodies that will fit, especially with this molding of this, you know, unique shock towers here to fit around and have internal guards and stuff like that, which would be interesting to see. Okay, now the body is on, and here's what I was saying about the internal wheel wells there. You can see how there's not much of a gap once the body is on. Front and the rear, there is a rear gap there. It's pretty minimal, and as you can see, that would stop a lot of mud and debris getting up into the chassis, which is really cool. And the mudguards kind of follow all the way up to the front of the chassis as well, up to the front of the body as well. Here is the back, as you can see. Very cool, and it's nice how they've done that. I think that's just really great to see. Okay guys, and here is a look underneath the body itself, and as you can see, there's a special wheel wells that are just fit for this body. So it's interesting to see what other manufacturers come out. Hopefully Proline will bring out other bodies have these integrated inner wheel wells, because they work really well with the car, and they have these special keyed shock towers in here. So that'll be interesting to see if maybe even an axial body will fit it now, but you would lose this integral part here. So interesting to see. But there is the underneath of the Defender there. Now the tyres are 1.9 pre-mounted and glued on plastic imitation beadlock wheels. They do look nice. Overall, they seem very sticky and not too soft, not the softest, but definitely fine for a ready-to-run kit. As you can see, they do have an air hole in there, so if you were going to run in a lot of water, I'd want to maybe tape that up or seal that small hole, stop water ingress in there. They are foam filled, and first impression, they look great and feel great, but that's one thing. The other is see how they perform. Now I definitely get asked this, so I thought I'd get an axial deadbolt, which is very similar dimensions than a lot of the other cars, just to give you a rough idea of the size comparison. So you can see there, that is the wheelbase on the Traxxas is slightly longer, and it definitely, well, with this body in particular, it is larger and overall much taller. Obviously with the Jeep body, it'll be very similar in dimensions, but the wheelbase is definitely longer on the Traxxas. That's a difference in the wheelbase, with being the back wheel being lined up with the Traxxas. Now that gives you a good comparison of the length. Obviously this is very high. It naturally, this body in real life is high, so you got to expect that. And from the rear, there we go. Now once this is all on, and I've seen it with the SCX10 too, it kind of looks like a toy, the axle. Just how well this is put together, and the guards and the internal fenders and all the accessories. This does really look cool. Yes, that might not be the best for practical use and you know how it performs, but just from first impressions, it does look impressive, and at least you know your money's going somewhere. Okay, now here I have both the cars here. Obviously got the Traxxas on the left, and with its portal axle design, you can see the advantage it has with the ground clearance. It's huge. If you just look to the axle next door, it is minimal. It's say 2-finger gap there, 2-3-finger gap, so nearly another finger height to there. Very mathematical way of calculating, but you can just see from this quick example the height difference. Now on the side as well, you can definitely see the big difference and the angle of the drive shaft. You might not be able to see it here, but on the Traxxas, the drive shaft angle is minimal angle and stress on these drive shafts. So over time, that'll be beneficial. And I think that is a great design, and that is because it does have that portal axle design. Back on the axle here, you can see that the drive shaft angle is much steeper, and this is the same on all axle kits and also the G-Made Komodo and Sawback and other kits like that. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of the unboxing and in-depth look of the TRX-4 from Traxxas. Everything so far looks fantastic. I really can't wait to get it out in the trails and give it a test against axial and G-Made cars to see how it actually performs. Like always, any questions, please leave them down below. I'll leave the link in the description from Crazyhobbies where this is available from. Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Hope you enjoyed the video guys, and I'll see you in the next one.